Hi everybody, this is our next training exercise for MYOB assignment 5. In this exercise we're going to be looking at purchasing on credits. Now just a note, up till now what we've been learning is the pre-conversion setup processes for MYOB, which essentially looks at how to bring across our existing financials to our pre-conversion date that we set in MYOB. From exercises 5 onwards, so from today onwards, we're going to be looking at how to use MYOB on a day-to-day basis. So in this exercise, the context here is if you have got arrangements with suppliers who supply items, services to you, an invoice, send you an invoice, ask for payment within terms of reference, so normally, for example, 30 days. You'll need to obviously, first of all, enter in purchase details as an invoice in order to create an invoice in the system in order for a payment to be made for that particular customer. So just open up the exercise. So purchasing. So we're purchasing on this instance. So essentially what we need to do first things first is go into the purchasing icon up here. And I'm going to work through and put in these invoices and have a look at the report at the end. So we go to enter purchases over here. And first we select the supplier card, supplier's details. We're going to be using today's date. The purchase order number is, we'll leave the system generated number as it is. And we've got a supply invoice number, which is 0008. So we'll use that number over here. In the description, we put the purpose of the purchase. In our exercise, it says purchases of ink, so we'll enter that in here. They've already provided us with an allocation account number. Now, if you're doing this for an organization, you'll need to obviously drop down here, and based on the purpose of the purchase, you need to select the correct account. Now, in this instance, it will either be a expense or a cost of sale. Now, because we're a printing business, we purchase ink in order to print off brochures and business cards and whatever else for our customers. So for our business, this is actually a cost of goods sold. Now, looking at this here, we don't have any accounts that are set up for cost of goods sold. So we're going to have to create a new one. So I'm going to go to New. And it's not an expense, it's a cost of goods sold, COGS. And we've got a number of 1500 that's been pre-allocated. And I'm going to give it a name. So we'll call it ink purchases. Tax code. Now, when we purchase ink, it's going to pick up GST. So we're going to select GST. Now, just in summary, most items and services attract GST. If it's, for example, fresh food, it's GST exempt, GST free. Education, for example, is GST free. There's a number of exemptions out there, but on most occasions, most products and services do attract GST. 1568, 80. Okay, GST is there, so I'm happy with that. I record that invoice. Now it's saying to us that this card, Perfect, needs to have an ABN number recorded because the value of the invoice is more than $75. It's a warning. It's a flag that lets you know that tax legislation states that a tax invoice with an ABN number needs to be on hand to claim back the GST. So I'm going to override that. On yes. Do you want to apply? No, we don't want to apply that. Okay, so that's the first one done. We'll do the next invoice. So this one is for BT printers. Invoice number is 0009. Description is repair of print equipment. There's a expense account for repairs and maintenance, which is correct, and the amount is $480.50. Oops, just made a mistake there, haven't I? Let's change that to 50 cents. Record that. No, we don't want to apply that. Okay. We'll do the next one, which is Hills Transport. I'm using my tab button to work through these fields. The next invoice is 0010. Description is freight to factory. Now, once again, there's a cost of goods sold account. We don't actually have that one set up, so we're going to create a new one. So we get a new over here, 5-2000. 5-2000. We're going to call this one freight. And there's going to be a GST on this one. So we're going to pick up that account that we just created. And it's for $65.80. $65.80. Okay, purchases of ink. So it's white binding and packaging. I'm looking for white binding and packaging. Invoice number is 0011. Purchase of binding. There's a cost of goods sold account once again. We don't have it, so I'm going to drop down here, click on new, type in the number, the cost of sales, 1200. Give it a name, call it binding. This will attract GST as well. And the amount for this one is 1077. Spelling mistake, so we'll fix that up. Okay, so we'll do the next one. Artwork, so it's Stephen Graphics. Invoice is 0011, 0012. Artwork. Once again, we're going to have to go to new account. New. It's going to be a cost of goods sold. And it's 1400. And we'll call it artwork, art design. GST. We'll call that one. Drop down 5 artwork. And it's worth $280. Okay, so we don't want to apply that one. Next invoice is for PJ Partners. Invoice number 0013. Description of the purchase is for advertising. The account is an expense account 6-1200. Advertising and marketing. It's for $550. I think I just missed one, didn't I? This one was actually meant to be for accounting. Let's make a fix here. It's meant to be for accounting. 6-110 accounting and bookkeeping fees. And it's $600. Okay, so now we'll do the advertising, which is for quiz magazines. Invoice number 0014. Advertising. 6-1200. It's for $550. The last invoice, let's ignore all. Let's invoice number 0015. It's for office cleaning. We've got an account 6-1600. Cleaning expenses, and it's for $700. Okay, so we record that. That's our last invoice. Now we'll have a look at our age receivables report once again. We'll go to reports over here. Sales. It's the first invoice at the top here, display. Now what we're going to see here is because these invoices are all dated today, they're all going to be, sorry, I'll generate the wrong report. That's for our customers. We want to have a look at our purchases. Age payables report. So as I was saying, that these invoices that we just entered, dated today, should be in our first column as they are, and the amount of 5322 matches with what our exercise states as well. So analyze columns 0 to 30, which we have, which should be 5322 and 10 cents, and the 6190 is our age debtors account. So now the total invoices that are outstanding that we need to pay our suppliers are 2234, and 20 cents. Okay, so that's the first part of the exercise. The second part of the exercise, we're going to practice what to do when making payment to our suppliers. Okay, so we'll close this one off. Close this one off as well. Okay, so now we go to purchases once again. This time round, instead of entering purchases, we're going to go to pay bills. And once again, it's all going to be today's date. We'll start from the beginning, which is we're going to do a payment for Picture Perfect as follows. Now, the key to this exercise is you need to put the amount that you are paying. So we're paying 1568 and 80 cents, and we are paying off the invoice for our purchase order 8, which is this one here. So if you drill into the actual invoice itself, you'll see as reference, on it again, the supply invoice number 8, which corresponds with our exercise as well. But I also know that being we're paying this amount and the invoice is also the same amount, I know it's going to correspond. Now, the system will also accept payment to be made for another invoice over here as well. So this is a partial payment. So for example, in the scenario where you wanted to pay one of your suppliers half this week and half next week, for example, you would apply the amount that you're paying this week to the invoice that you're wishing to pay this week as well, which is, as I mentioned, a partial payment. But in this instance, where it's a full payment for the invoice that we entered in today. So once you've done that and you hit tab, the out of balance figure should be 0, and we can now record that. We'll do the same thing for BT. So supplier BT printers. We have an amount for 480.50, and we apply that to the invoice by just double clicking where it says applied, which will put the figure, same figure there. Hit tab, out of balance is 0. We record that one. Hills Transport is the next one. The amount is 65.80, and we apply that to the invoice by clicking the box here. Hit tab, clears out 0. We record. Now we've got white binding. 1077. Second invoice here. Stephen Graphics. $280. PJ Partners. $600 accounting fees. There's only the one invoice here. Magazine. Quiz magazine. $550. And Spotless. Record that. Spotless. $700. And record that last invoice, or last payment, sorry. Okay. Now, once we've done that and we've put our payments in, we'll now have a look at our report once again. So if we go to Reports, Purchases, Summary, Edge Payable Summary Report Display, what you'll notice now is because we've made a payment to all the invoices that were open that we generated today, it's cleared out that 0 to 30 column. So we have no more invoices that are payable that occurred today. Now, obviously, in reality, we will not be paying the most recent purchases. It'll be more accurate to pay the older invoices so that we don't get a bad credit report. But just to show you how the reporting works, I chose specifically this particular column so we can clear it all out so you can see how the report looks and how it operates. So that concludes Assignment 5, which looked at purchasing on credit.